Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the North Shore Fire Department Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. Amy, if you could do roll call for us.
Yes, good evening, Commissioner Admin.
Here.
Commissioner Pratt.
Present.
Commissioner Byers.
Present.
Commissioner Webster.
Here.
Commissioner Woolard.
Here.
Chief Cowan.
Here.
Legal Counsel Matt Paxton. Present.
There it goes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Now we
thank
can.
you. And then Board Secretary Amy Oakley.
And Amy, did you get any public comments ahead of time of people that wanted to speak?
No.
Okay, and is there anyone that wanted to make a public comment tonight on our Zoom end?
It's like only Mike or Doug. Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and move on since I don't see anyone raising a hand. Onto the approval of the agenda.
I'll move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Everyone in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. We are gonna move on to the board discussion and possible action items. 4.1 is the approval of financial policy 6200. And Amy, do you mind reading that? Or do you have it up?
I can pull it up. So this is the policy that was updated by to match Shoreline's finance around small bidding and
Right.
procedures.
I can give a quick little update, I think.
Sure.
So we took the existing policy from both Shoreline and North Shore, kind of said, okay, look at this and what's the best, and so modified actually a little bit of both, and then kicked it over to Matt Paxton for review. He had some more edits, some cleanup, some obviously some legal things to make sure that we were doing. It brought it back, and then I had my assistant Beatrice clean it up some more and sent it back, and that's what you have. That was sent out to you all.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with Commissioner Admin. Did you have any comments on that?
No, I read it. Looked fine.
Okay, Commissioner Byers? Okay, Commissioner Webster?
I'm good with it.
Commissioner Pratt?
Yeah, no comments. Looks good.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion that we approve financial policy 6200 as presented.
I
I'll
will
second.
second that. Well,
So that's
Okay.
second.
Okay, everyone in favor say aye.
Aye.
aye. Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Update, 4.2, update on capital projects.
The one project that I wanted to brief you on, and I think I mentioned this at the last meeting as well, which was that Station 57 generator project. Where we're at is that they're doing electrical work and they're monitoring electrical load. So that we can size the generator appropriately, not something too big, not something too small. And so that's where they're at right now.
Okay,
And once they are done with that, they can give us a recommendation on the kilowatts and all that. I would guess it's probably in the 50 to 70 range, but I have no idea. And then once we can do that, then we can make the purchase. So some of this will absolutely roll into next year. But the follow-up to that too is that once we have, because the electrical load is going to be for the entire station, but not all of the station is wired for the generator. So this will be a couple of phases of, pun intended, a couple of phases of getting, the generator right sized for the station and wired up and all that, but then also going back at some point and changing out the circuits to go into the generator so that the whole station can be on the generator.
I have a question. and so does Rick Webster in a second here, but my question is, is the sizing calculation, does it include any sort of contingency for future remodeling or needs of the station,
Right.
et cetera?
I would guess that it would. I certainly wouldn't, just like anything else, you don't want to build it for what you have now. You want to make sure that you're anticipating, what there are in the future. The other flip side of this is there are things that become more efficient too, like LED lights or things like that as well. But I certainly will be a proponent of not sizing it just for what we want, but sizing it for any possible future needs too. So yeah, I'm sure what we'll end up with is something that's more than what we have, that we know what we absolutely minimum need, for now, but that's what we'll go. I guess that's probably
Commissioner
what Rick.
Webster?
I just was wondering what your timeline is for the testing for this monitoring of the usage of power.
I can find out what the timeline is. I did speak with Chief Hochstein on this earlier today, and he did not have an update on the timeline. I think he was, going to reach out to the contractor to find out where they're at. That some of this takes time for them to do the, to see what it's averaged out apparently. But I'll find out and I'll email you an update. I don't want to wait for the next
That's
meeting.
good. It is good to monitor that. They can extend it without monitoring. So we got to stay on top of it. Thank you.
Keith, a little bit off topic, but sort of on topic, just how did they fare with the storms and generators?
I didn't hear any major problems, but I'm guessing that generator it's very needy. It needs a lot of TLC to keep running and all that. So I'm assuming that they were doing some of that work, but I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
I don't know, did you hear anything? Okay.
I have had occasion in the past to be working at that station when the generator was needed and when it failed.
So it seems like it runs for about an hour or so before.
Oh, that's it?
And then
And so it's
fails, and
outgoing.
then they have to. But I haven't heard anything, so maybe.
I know, I was just
maybe
gonna
it's
say, knock
okay.
on wood.
So,
Knock on wood.
And it certainly, we had power outages in this area, so.
No news, hopefully good news.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to board resolutions. I have none. Did any of the commissioners have anything to add to that? Nope. Okay. Consent agenda, 6.1 vouchers. Commissioner compensation, meeting minutes, regular meeting.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. On to reports, the fire chief's report.
Any questions or anything? The one thing I was gonna point out.
Commissioner Pratt might have a question.
Yeah, so sorry, Chief. When I was reviewing the packet yesterday, I didn't see your report in there. Was it included yesterday?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't get to it until this morning. I emailed it out to everybody. I apologize. It was I was off for most of last week and then coming back and trying to catch up yesterday. I didn't get to it in time. There wasn't a lot in my report because it was a short week for everybody. Just maybe off the top of my head, a few things. We did have our orientation night last night here for our new firefighters. So they're off and running, starting with EMT first in January, and then followed by the firefighter academy. I think the firefighter academy starts on, I think the EMT's done on February 14th. They start the fire on February 18th. Yeah, so it's going to be a good part of the year before we'll see them.
And what number are we at? How many were hired?
8.
8.
So we have 8. Well, and between, and this is we have the consortium piece of 12, 8 Shoreline and 4 Bothell. But for EMT, we're putting in all of our candidates in with Bellevue and what they're doing down there. So it's actually a big class. I don't know the exact number, but I know they had to divide it up into two different groups.
Okay,
So like one will get a lecture and then do practicals in the
I
afternoon and
see.
vice versa.
okay,
Or somehow, however they're gonna, divide that up. So we'll have 12 here, running around, come February. Using the 51 training grounds and other grounds. We'll be using 61 and acquired structures, and they'll be up at the State Academy as well. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that we're still maintaining, well, actually, we dropped even a little bit more. We're at 0.7% under budget for the year so far. And we've been at 0.6 for a few months, which has been kind of surprising that we didn't slip back some of that. December is usually typically a heavier month. So I would think that November will probably be somewhere in that same ballpark, and then we might lose a little bit of ground finishing up the year, but doing pretty well. So that's encouraging.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
I was just looking at your noteworthy meetings and noticing that you met with Representative Kloba and Senator Solomon, and I was just curious what their interest is in the RFA.
That was set up by the pro committee. They wanted to make sure that they had the information. So I was there just to provide, similar presentation to what I've been providing to the council, answering any questions that they may have and so forth, and just making sure that they're informed. So I've also met with Representative Ryu. That was in a previous chief's report. And then I met with city council last night for Kenmore, which passed a resolution supporting the RFA. And then next week I meet with Shoreline and Lake Forest Park. And I meet with Representative Dewar Friday. So basically just, trying to get as much of the information out there so that if there's any questions or concerns or whatever that I can address. We're now, now that we've done the plan and all that, now it's just making sure that everybody gets the information so that they can vote with as much information as they need. So now I do know that Representative Ryu and Kloba came back and talked to the pro committee and that they were in support of it. That's not my job. My job is just to get all the information out there. I don't know if Jesse got back to the pro committee or not.
All right, those are my questions.
okay.
Has the measure gone, all the paperwork's gone in? I know it's
No.
not good until the.
That's a great question, actually, because I've been, I asked to come, I've been struggling. I started filling out all the submittal paperwork and the cover sheet, and I have to populate the pro and the con committee, the people, and so forth. And one of the questions I had, and in fact, right before I came down here, she actually got back to me from elections that she still doesn't have all the answers. She's like, I need to talk to legal counsel. Well, maybe Matt could weigh in on this, I suppose, too. But so my question was, like, for example, there's one submittal form. Do I need to fill out a form for both North Shore and Shoreline? It's a joint resolution. There's only one set of pro committee and one set of con committee. But it's a joint resolution. I would think that you would have just one submittal form.
Okay.
But we also need to make sure that it targets both the North Shore and Shoreline fire districts so that the Lake Forest Park and Kenmore residents or voters are voting on it with Shoreline.
Yeah.
And I said, well, and it's all together, and we need a 60% plus one. So we need to make sure everybody's voting on it. How does that trigger, to make sure that the ballots go out to all the voters, appropriately? She goes, ooh, that's a really good question. I'm like, okay, who's on here? I think it's kind of surprising that I'm the one that's asking a good question.
Yeah.
You would think that this would be, oh yeah, this is how you do it, kind of thing.
Right.
And so I was kind of a little surprised. And then, and I had 3 questions, the others were, they figured it out, but so that's still a question. So to answer your question, I've not submitted it yet. I am going to submit it here in the next couple of days.
What's the deadline?
David, what's that?
What's the deadline?
Next Friday.
Okay.
So we have till the 13th, but I don't want to wait till next week. I'd rather get it in.
Yeah.
And so I did reach out to David Marin because he has expressed interest in being on the con committee.
Mhm.
And I said, please confirm the email address that you want to use, your phone number, and any other people that you want to have on the committee. We have advertised, and I haven't had anybody respond to me yet, but if they do, then I'm gonna send them to Dave.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, so I expect hopefully to submit by Thursday. And so if there's any questions or concerns or whatever, then, then we still have next week to deal with them or whatever.
Iron things out.
Yeah.
Okay. I do not believe there are any fire commissioner reports.
I have one report,
Okay.
just that I attended the Kenmore City Council meeting last night and made some comments in favor of the RFA, and they passed a resolution unanimously supporting the RFA. So that was good to see.
I did on an additional note there too. I was able to, as you may have seen, as I was walking out, there was a gentleman that did speak up in the public comment section of the meeting, and I ended up having a fairly good a 20-minute conversation with him out in the lobby, basically talking to him about some of the comments he made and some of the false assumptions and information and things that he had heard or was speaking. And so I felt at the end of our conversation actually it was fairly good.
Good.
I don't know if if it made any difference, to him, but I felt pretty good about it.
Okay.
Because he was saying some things that were not accurate.
Got ya.
Chief, frankly, I'm surprised that we weren't able to change Dave Marin's mind at the end there. I thought we had him and he would.
It wasn't Dave Marin that spoke last night.
Paul Hess.
No. So
The short list.
I don't know. It was.
There's only about 4 of them. So
Yeah. Well, this is a gentleman that every meeting that I've been to, at every public comment opportunity at the Kenmore City Council meetings, he has spoken up, and he's spoken up very, very passionately against
A
everything.
variety of issues.
Everything. And
Probably
so,
enough said.
yeah, I'm not gonna say his name. It's not important. It's not important, but he's basically somebody that is very passionately involved in some of the city council affairs. And so I that's why I felt pretty good that we had a good conversation. It was respectful and all that. So I felt pretty good that I was actually at least able to talk to somebody that had the wrong information. And that's really what I'm trying to be there for and have these meetings, is just to make sure that everybody gets the right information and is educated when they go to vote.
Yeah.
That's all we can ask for in any of this. So
Yeah. Any other commissioner reports? No, okay. Mr. Paxton, legal counsel report.
Legal update for you today.
Okay, thank you. Amy, do you mind going over the upcoming board agenda?
Yes, so one thing is that there will need to be a special meeting to approve the December vouchers. And I spoke to Dawn, and she had recommended December 17th or December 18th. This is an extremely short meeting, 5 minutes. Basically just the consent agenda.
And is that something we can do via Zoom?
We can. Legally, we need to have one person here
Okay,
in person.
okay,
In case someone from the public were to come in person.
I see,
But
okay,
otherwise, everyone else can be online. So it is a very short meeting, and it's a special meeting, so it does not have to be at 5 o'clock either.
I feel like we should stick with the 17th since it's a Tuesday and that's normally when we have our meetings anyway.
And there only needs to be 3 people present, so.
Okay,
That's.
and I can actually be here in person for that, so. If everyone else wants to join via Zoom, I know it's a busy time of year, so.
is there any need for me to be there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I'm working with the city manager in Bothell, that day. And we're going to different meetings, so excuse me, I may not be available anyway.
Okay,
So should we say is 5 p.m. a good time? Okay.
Sure.
I think so, yeah.
So there'll be a special meeting December 17th, Tuesday at 5 p.m. And the agenda item will be to approve end of year vouchers. Okay, so then the next regular meeting is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. It'll include the standard agenda items as well as the selection of the board chair and vice chair. And
Okay,
I don't have any other items.
okay. Any other commissioners want to add anything? No, 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 okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.